having a discussion about the Pirates and Chiefs saga. I just wanted to, my name is Chris Giane. I'm going to be the shepherd to try and sort of shepherd these proceedings. We're just asking for your indulgence because coming through here was a hell of a, you know, our problems with load shedding and all that. Everything is blamed on load shedding. There's a hell of a traffic, you know, coming through here. So we are still missing some people. So we're asking for your indulgence for just 10 minutes. I'm a contractor. I'm very, very sensitive on time because I deliver projects on time. I work with time, and time is money. So if I don't start things at, we said we invited you to come here at 10 o'clock so that we can start. So if we don't start at 10 o'clock, you know, we must actually treat Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Another greetings and good morning to all of you that's gathered here. And I think that we obviously treasure and your joining us in this media launch, which we think we're very excited about it as BBCBE. And I think that before we could actually do anything, I think a lot of these people seated across the table here are Christians, and they would like to open with a prayer, if you don't mind. And we'll ask our CEO of BIH, of the foundation, to pray for us. Tsepo, if we could be upstanding or just bow our heads from where we are seated.
Thank you, Starlord. If we could just bow our heads, please. We thank you, Lord, for gathering us here today on this special day. We thank you, Father, for the opportunity to be amongst leaders and people that have vision for our country and for the industry. We ask, Father, that you may bless us for this occasion to be successful. We ask, Father, that you may give us the wisdom and the know-how on how we should do things to the best of our ability. We ask, Father, that you should protect everyone that's here with us and those that are in the country, and in general, protect everybody that needs protection, heal the sick, and give those give hope to those that are weak. We ask, Father, that may this occasion be blessed, not just for now, but going forward. We pray that it may be a successful event annually. We pray that the seeds that we lay today may fruit and to benefit millions of people. We ask, Father, that give us all the skills that is needed to perform this task before us. We ask all this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. We're living in very interesting times. We're living in very interesting times indeed. We have elections. We've got 300 and somewhat, over 300 parties that are going to be, that you're going to be paging through in order to find your party that you're going to be voting for. But I'm not speaking politics here. I'm just saying we're living in very interesting times, because whilst we were supposed to start at 10 o'clock, and we start now at about 10:18 or 10:20 now, and apologies for that once more. I'm just reminded by this one person, as I said, that we live in interesting times, in the times where we hold meetings virtually, and this one person who could not make it on time and log in and all that, when they eventually came into the meeting about 45 minutes late, they then just sounded to the meeting that, sorry, Chair, I'm late, I was held up in traffic. You didn't get it. Thank you. Okay. I can notice a few people did get that. You can laugh afterwards, it's fine. So, yeah, as I said, that, just to give a background of why we are gathered here, I think, as I said, exciting times indeed. This organization is a very, very old organization called the BBCBE. You would have heard maybe some of the people refer to me as a stalwart. I don't know. The stalwart is a very old person who has lots of brains, not a youngish to oldish person like me. You agree with that? But there's a lot of experience out here standing right in front of you, being in this industry very, very a long time. And yeah, just to say that the organization itself is a very old organization that has been haggling with a lot of things that are construction based. And we look at construction as widely as we can, because it's not construction of building, but it's a whole infrastructure, looking at the whole infrastructure, looking at transport, looking at energy, and looking at other things that we've, in our many years of operation, keeping this organization alive, we've then come to think that, and I think thanks to the president of, the current president of the BBCBE now, who came up with the idea that said to all of us that we really have to talk. We really have to have this construction in Daba. And I think that, you know, everybody was excited about it and said, but how are we going to do that? Because we're just BBCBE. But we thought, let's go for it anyway, because there's nothing else that's happening. People are complaining about this. We've got the mafias, we've got the business forums, we've got all other things. We've got the lack of the rollout of the infrastructure. And nobody seems to be coming forward to be talking about this thing, to gather people in this industry, in the infrastructural space, to talk about things. And I think we're very excited to say that we've come forward, courtesy of the president's idea, to really sort of saying we need to have the industry talking, because industry has got a lot of things. We have to fix this industry. Don't know what's going to happen going forward, but I think by the time we hold this in Daba and the time that we conclude it, we would have come up with resolutions that we would like to follow on a yearly basis, working with partners like Sanral, working with partners like CETA, working with all the other stakeholders that we've identified. Mind you, we have identified these stakeholders, we've been working with them, and we think that you know, gathering people just next door and talking about these issues, whilst government is actually fixing its own politics come 29th of May, we don't want to be left behind of not having fixed this industry. I like a saying that says that make a difference where you are seated or where you are placed. Don't wait for someone else who's elsewhere to make a difference. You must make a difference in the space where you know, you are affecting that space. Okay, so without, as I said, much further ado, I don't want to take the shine from the president, who, according to the program that you have on your tables, we'll have Mr. Danny Masimeni, who's the current president of the BBCBE, come forward to really sort of hash out what it is, and then sort of welcome you to start with, but also to really sort of tell us why we are gathered here. And whilst he's standing up to come to the mic, or he says he's going to do it there. So I'd like to sort of say that just at the back there, on the exit sign, the ablutions or toilets are on the right. You know, if you turn right, there's a sign there with the male and female. You open that door, then the male and female toilets are there. I think that we're just waiting for somebody to, in case there's a fire here, where do we go? We don't go to the toilet, but I think we'll go out here and be shown the assembly point where we will assemble. And as people who are in construction, safety comes first. You have to return to your families in the way that you left this morning. Thank you. Over to you, President.
Thank you very much, Stalwart Gianni, for the remarks. And let me take this opportunity to extend my greetings to everyone. A very good morning to all of you. Cannot just be a talk show, and hence we invited you today to come and be witnesses to this really historic event. But before I go into the nitty-gritties and the details of the Indaba, roll out the invisible red carpet. You might have not seen it, but you have been walking on that carpet while you were ushered in. Take into consideration those who came to support us, the various media houses that are in our presence, and also our partners in the industry, the Construction, Education and Training Authority, CETA, led by the CEO, Mr. Malusi, into our pockets. But so that we have a successful Indaba. And colleagues will recall that this is not inward looking. We're not doing this for the members of BBCBE, but we are doing it for the industry, because we thought we need to take the lead. As you know that we lead in transformation as BBCBE, so we also thought on this one, let's take the lead and the rest will follow. So we also have one of the stakeholders from Trade Bricks, one of the exciting programs that we are bringing to the industry, and it is led by Mr. Praveen Maharaj and team. Maharaj, welcome in your team. Yeah, thank you very much, colleagues. That was the introduction. If for whatever reason I left your name, it is not deliberate. It's not that you are not my favorite, but it's just that though we are going to address them, but we don't want to justify them, you know, by putting them in black and white. But those are the challenges that we'll be dealing with. I think the program director has touched on the issue of site invasions, you know, that is grappling the industry and the country, and that has escalated, you know, the cost of construction. And how the cost escalated is because now those who are pricing for any construction project, they also know the armed one, so that they are able to execute this project. But we are saying that the money that is going towards the payment of this security to safeguard the project, though that money is the taxpayers' money, and that money could be channeled, you know, to other form of service delivery. And as an organization, BBCBE, and many other in the industry, you know, we are not in support of the site invasion, and we regard that public works problem. It is an industry problem, and we need to find a way that we are able to isolate those that want to criminalize this sector and make sure that everything is regulated. And the last part on that is that we realize that these projects, they are taking place in various communities. And it is important that we get a buy-in from these communities as far as those projects are concerned. And not only the buy-in when we bring the contractors or when there is a site briefing. You know, the people in Shawela, they just wake up to see a fleet of cars, you know, surrounding their township, and they don't know what is happening. We are saying that the communities must be involved through social facilitation so that they have a buy-in at concept level. So when they have a buy-in, they will also make sure that people are not just parachuted, you know, from Messina and then to Shawela, and they don't even know the nitty-gritties of what is happening. So that those are one of the challenges that will be addressing concur with the awards or appointments. How so? Is that when you are appointed as a contractor, you are required to submit a performance guarantee that performance guarantee, if from the financial sector they decide to decline to issue you with a performance guarantee, indirectly it means that whoever is to the implementation, it goes into, you know, the warm bodies who are going to execute the projects, and the profit is built in there in the 20 to 30% of the project. But almost 70 to 80%, it goes to material. So we are saying that we can never say that the industry, it is transformed up until we transform the value chain along the manufacturing and the material suppliers, because that is where most of the money goes. So, and that is why we as BBCBE, we promote, you know, the program like the Black Industrialist, where we need to have allowed to go stalwart, build an ablution block in Beijing, but we know that is not practical. As a country, we are not ready, we are not capacitated, you know, to go and do business in other countries. So we're not saying that we don't need the skill, but we are saying that that space that need to be regulated, and so that we know the type of projects. It should be complex projects. It should be based on the capacity that we don't have in the country. And another thing that need to be added, you know, as a condition, is that there need to be clear transfer of skills, so that in another 5-10 years that we have to execute the same project, we can source that skill locally that has benefited from that project. So we're saying that it is becoming a concern, and we've realized that some of the companies, it is a non-racial, non-political organization, and is committed to the unity of contractors, manufacturers, suppliers, professionals, as well as other business formation partnership with government, labor, communities, non-governmental organization, and other progressive organization in the built environment. The BBCBE is a founder and an affiliate of BBC, which is Black Business Council, which is our mother body. So we are presenting this inaugural built environment in Daba in partnership with CETA, CIDB, DBSA, SANRAL, and other strategic supporters to present the inaugural built environment in Daba. That will be taking place on the 4th and the 5th of April 2024 at Galaga Convention Center, just a stone throw from where we are. And the theme of our Indaba is building a transformed built environment through collaboration, procurement, and skills development. This event will present a platform to all practitioners in the built environment industry to come together under one roof to discuss and provide solution to the event Indaba that is taking place this year. The intention is that we have the same kind of Indaba every year, so that we are able to take stock, we are able to deal with new challenges, and when there are legislations, you know, that are not enabling, you know, for the practitioners in the industry, we are also able to draft and influence those type of legislations and regulations. The built environment in Daba shall further promote, develop, and ensure that there is economic transformation and empowerment at all levels of the economy, ensure the participation of women, youth, and people living with disabilities, that they have significant capacity, and we're talking about skilling. Colleagues, is that what we are saying is that these projects, the infrastructure projects, they need to help the country in making sure that they lessen or they decrease the unemployment rate, you know, and we cannot have a situation where a project that is being awarded to an international company, we find ourselves having almost 70 to 80% of the human resource coming from outside that country. That cannot be correct.
Media release is going to be distributed to the attendees here, and that's why I was getting closer, maybe to explain that. And as you said that you could have been fired, I'm the shepherd here today. Okay. I just think that, you know, you've covered a very important thing. There are lots of organizations that call themselves and coin good names and stuff like that. And just behind me here, it says that we lead transformation. You know, for the people we are transforming this industry for that wealth to be spread around. Let the sun shine on everyone. And again, I'm also glad that you explained BBCBE. This is not a television or radio thing. There's BBCBE called BBCBE, and then you go and think we are part of the television. No, we're not. We're in infrastructure space, and you can see with the amount of people that are here. So without waste of time, we're going to catch up on time because people were caught up in traffic, including
and the representative of CIDB and the representative of DBSA, and also all protocol observed, including the financiers that are here present. I stand here also greeting the members of the media as we are in this media launch for the Built Environment Indaba inaugural, as it is deemed today, this morning. For us, friends and colleagues, we're here to deliver a message of support for the Built Environment Indaba, as will be hosted by the Black Business in the Built Environment on the 4th to the 5th of April here in Galaga Estate in Johannesburg. For us as a sitter, within the 10 minutes that I'm giving, as I deliver the message of sponsorship of the sponsor, our mandate as a sitter, it is an imperative. At the same time, we've become smart, that we are able to find a way to achieve transformation that is not meaningful, that is not impactful. And that itself is an evil that is plaguing this country and many sectors of this country, that you find entities that are really not transformed meaningfully, but they are rated the best in the race, and those who are supposed to be at the forefront, they are backbenchers of the journey that you will realize when you read the data and statistics in this country. For us as a sitter in this journey, we are one of the sponsors, which is an exciting journey that we're looking forward. There are so many issues that affect the sector, because if the sector is not doing well, it means our mandate cannot be realized of making sure that we propel as many as possible to be able to be skilled for today and the ever-changing world. And with this message, we support and congratulate the PPCBE for its inaugural Built Environment Indaba, and we wish it to go well. That is our message. Thank you, Chair.
That was a very lethargic clap of hands. I think you can do it again. You can do better. Thank you. That C is the mother body of the BBCBE, but it's the BBCBE that's gathered here. It's a BBCBE too. Thank you very much, Nomia. Siyabonga baba. No sihlalo khona eduze kwakho. Siyabonga. Yeah, I think we are chasing time because we started a little bit late, and thank you for that. Thank you for understanding. And I think at this point, I also call upon Mr. Reginald Demana, whom I was very excited to meet today, because I've mentioned this name 100 times already in meetings and all that with my fellow BBCB members, but I've met the person today. You'll see that he's almost, he stands up, but the president, I'm not sure if the president was standing up or was seated. They all sort of are, show the line.
We certainly will be part of it, and we will offer whatever support needs to be offered to the Indaba. I think we are seeing quite a few other conferences being launched this year. Last week we were at the African Transport Conference. It's one of our UCT-led conference looking at African research. We had quite a number of African countries there, as well as other countries outside of the continent represented. But it's all about research in various areas involving transport. And of course, later this year, SANRAL itself is launching Roads in Dava in October during the October Transport Month. So that's something to also for us look forward to. Our Constitution. Section 217 of the Constitution says, SANRAL as a state-owned entity, when it procures goods and services, it must do so within a framework that is transparent, competitive, and cost-effective. So those are the 5 pillars of procurement in the public sector. Now, having said that, it doesn't talk about inclusivity and diversity. It misses those. Whether that's deliberate or not, I do not know. So when we interpret the Constitution based on the letter of the Constitution, it misses those aspects of inclusivity and diversity, which are the very principles that transformation seeks to achieve. How do we bring in more people into this sector? How do we bring in marginalized groups into the space? How do we cross that divide between the haves and the have-nots, and those that are privileged and those that are not? Those that are already empowered by their historical status and those that are not, women, youth, people living with disabilities, and generally historically disadvantaged people. So it misses that. And of course, the focus is on open processes, costs, as well as with our inability to provide financial facilitation to selected individuals. That is the challenge which, and I certainly hope that as we go forward, these are issues we must confront. When you look at, of course, the DTIC will say, yes, the BEE Act, the Broad-Based Act, which talks to scorecards, is something that really must drive how you measure those transformations, the scorecards. Evidence will suggest that maybe those who show us some of these scorecards, level 1s and all of that, it does not reflect the transformation and the flow through of economic benefits. Procurement Policy Framework Act, the Triple PA, PFA, as well as the PFMA. And any deviation from such may even lead to jail time. And of course, the PFMA says we are not allowed to provide financial facilitation. At SANRAL Act, we are not allowed to provide guarantees and all of that without National Treasury approval. So we are caught up in a space where the legal framework does not allow us to do much in transformation. It also doesn't help that the 2017 regulations were struck off, which means even the very foundation of the 30% sharing is at risk. At least that 30% sharing is now a commonly accepted practice. It is goodwill. So even though we talk about it, being it there, obviously there will be chaos to the extent that that gets challenged, but there is no legal framework that provides for it. And therefore, the public procurement bill that is going through Parliament is a very important instrument that we really need to stand behind. We really need observing issues of open tender processes and all of that. It's a very important framework. It will be a game changer, I believe, and it is therefore something we certainly really need to be knocking on the doors of Parliament, knocking on the doors of National Treasury, to make sure that once and for all, we have a legal platform that protects us in driving transformation initiatives. Otherwise, we will always be in courts. We are going to be blocked from rolling out the work, and we are not going to achieve the transformation objectives that we think we can be able to transform using our procurement budgets. Our procurement budgets. But we are very much committed to the new public procurement bill. And of course, we are working on contractor development program. It's a program that we're putting in a lot of work. Hopefully, we can also get funding partners, DPSA, there's APSA, there's Netbank, and a few others that are willing to come on board. And also, we want to look at Black Industrialist Initiative on the value chain. So material supply, issues of other things that can be supplied, bitumen, asphalt, and many other things, to see whether we cannot have a construction sector focused Black Industrialist scheme, hopefully with the DTIC and the IDC backing that initiative. So thanks once again for the invitation. We wish you all the best in arranging the conference. It's not easy, but I'm sure we are now very close. It's just about a month away. So
there's always been this thing of this perpetual training. People are ever being trained to be what I don't know. And it never ends. And that's why we are sitting where we are sitting. And I want to go back to what I said earlier when we opened. You know, the fact that we really need to say to ourselves, you know, how long, when did this training thing start, you know, and where is it at now? It's a question of just monitoring where we are, and so that we can move forward. In the way that things are happening, it mustn't be the usual thing that happens. We come, we eat, we sort of half network or not network at all, and then we go back home after clapping hands and we've forgotten about the Indaba. This one is going to be a different one, where in the next year, we are going to be looking at the president and his team. How far is it? It's going to be really monitored. It's now important that we, in our own little spaces, make a difference. And that difference is going to impact nationally. And I think that, you know, again, the likes of, I think the next speaker, not to really divulge everything here. This is like message of support. The excitement is going to be when somebody from CIDB gets onto the Indaba. And I think, you know, we're going to be rolling our shirts there and taking off our jackets and all that. It's going to be a nice fight about things. So our next speaker from the CIDB representative, and let me also acknowledge what the president called a stalwart. I call him the grandfather of CIDB, who has just walked in just in time to give us a...
Condolences, Baba. Yeah. No, really, first thing, the apology from our CEO. We've got a strategic planning session, and unfortunately, he couldn't free himself from that important engagement. And then I've been asked to represent, and I was told, I think 20 minutes before the actual scheduled time to start here. Hence, I'm not dressed up in a suit, because I had folded my arms to start working, and I was told I have to be here. With that, those who know German Patel from my previous life, I was a soldier, so I was told with a soldier cannot be ambushed. A soldier should always be combat ready. So when I was told I would have to be to contribute to the development of this industry through partnerships. And partnerships with the SETAs, in partnership, a long-standing partnership with the BBCBE. And I must indicate that the CIDB has now moved from being just doing advocacy, developing frameworks. We are now going to play an active role in the development to also develop a risk to fund or finance entities in the construction industry. So I'm saying, in short, thank you for the invite, and I'm here also to commit that CIDB will remain a reliable partner towards the transformation of this industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kosi for Life. And we're really bleeding, my friend, right now. I'm part of that. I know exactly what you are going through every day. I think the president did refer to the unfinished work, unfinished projects. And I wonder if anybody realizes, where we drive and all that, if there has been a survey being conducted in different provinces to see how much work has been left unfinished. If you look at schools, if you look at some of the public buildings and all that, how much has been wasted? And it's all because we all stood back, seeing the infrastructure space where we operate being vandalized and being given a bad name like that. I think, President, I put it to you that, I will challenge that in this Indaba, we must have the law enforcers as part of this Indaba. I'm just urging you, if it's a question that you did not look at it very, very carefully, and let's have those people commit and start doing their work and share with us that make a difference where you operate. That refers to that which I said earlier, to say that the number of projects, Mr. Mpatlele, that is out there, and people are not talking about it, even in Gauteng. I worked in a province in Northern Cape. There were about 60 schools has been left unfinished, and there was no one who would actually then say, but what happened here? And it's a simple thing. We've been in this industry too long, some of us. Yesterday, and he gets a 200 million project, walks around with it in a briefcase. And those are the sort of things I'm just touching. I did not decide this, so don't take me to the court by taking women to be behind all the sponsors.
Thanks very much. Thanks for the invitation, a strategic partner to the BBCBE, and also a sponsor to the Indaba. We're honored to be invited amongst the other stakeholders which are here, Sanral, SETA, and maintenance. I'm from the build and maintain part of the DBSA, which is the Infrastructure Delivery Division. I represent here our executive, Mr. Chone Rampele, who couldn't make it today because he had other commitments with another client. But definitely he is committed. He's coming to the Indaba, as we've already committed. Our path as the DBSA and the Infrastructure Delivery Division in particular meets then the BBCBE within the build and maintain pillars of the bank. The bank as a whole has prioritized strategic partnerships as an enabler in achieving sustainable infrastructure development within the country and also the rest of the continent, which we as a DBSA supports fully with utmost expectation for deliberations and discussions and shared experiences which are pertinent for the tactical and practical transformation and growth of the built environment. We are looking forward to the inaugural Indaba, which will engage, our executive said will engage post the event, because he also believes that it needs to be elevated, like you said, to the level of the mining Indaba or even more. So as DBSA, we're committed to that partnership. Thank you.
Do that, just going forward. And then the other thing that I want to leave you with this thought is that somebody said, and I'm not going to mention who, one of the leaders just said that we are in power. We've always been in power. But why are a lot of people jobless? Why are a lot of people still suffering? Somebody said that. So let's always remember that when we're in power, we have to make a difference. I've been harping on this all the time. When we are in power, we've got the Demanas, we've got the Shezis, and because there is an answer, to this set-aside thing. We can't keep mentioning it every year, and it's not your fault, sorry, I'm not. We can't keep mentioning it everywhere. We've got to find a solution. We've got to move forward speedily as we can. I've actually kept him last because he's very, very troublesome when he gets a mic. So I never fight with him when he's in church because he's a lay pastor. But when he's put in the middle of the program, I have to do what I did to the president earlier when I was advancing to him. But I think now he's the last one here and he can go to town. The next speaker, as I said when I was introducing him in absentia, he doesn't need any introduction, but Gregory Mufukeng, BBC Deputy President, Vice. What's the difference between deputy and vice? You come after the president. So, yeah, he's going to give us a talk, a word of support. Thank you.
You can do better, ladies and gentlemen. You can do better. Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to thank the program director, our stalwart here at the BBCBE, Muhlompei Christiani. Let me also acknowledge the president of the BBCBE, Muhlompei Deni Masimini, the deputy president, Ndate Bafana Dube, as well as the TG Martha Sidumedi. Let me also acknowledge within our midst the CEOs and the chairs of the various entities that are partnering with the BBCBE as far as this Indaba is concerned, and all of you, ladies and gentlemen, invited and uninvited guests. Thank you very much. Let me recognize you. As the program director has said, I am the vice president of the Black Business Council, and we are here to deliver a message of support for this Indaba, which is going to be hosted by the BBCBE together with yourselves as stakeholders. And this is, again, a demonstration of the attainment of the motto of the BBCBE, in that the BBCBE says it leads transformation. So this is one of those tangible steps towards ensuring that transformation is indeed achieved, and that the BBCBE is in the forefront of attaining this holy grail of transformation. And of course, one of the challenges that as the BBC we will still put at the door of the BBCBE is that we still need to see more consolidation in terms of representation, and as far as the sector is concerned, there is still a lot of organizations that are out there representing the same constituency, but I think that BBCB has taken the lead in that respect, and it is the duty and the responsibility of the BBCB to then reach out to those other organizations to come under this umbrella so that we can still have a unified voice of black business as far as the industry is concerned. And President, one of the meetings that I was part of recently, as part of my duties at the BBC, was that the BBCBE must rise and be that authoritative voice for the industry. So the industry must take lead from the BBCBE, and this is one of those steps where the BBCBE is stamping the authority to make sure that it becomes that significant and authoritative voice as far as industry matters are concerned. We are excited as well about the collaboration with yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, from the CETA, the SANRALs of this world, DBSA, CIDB. We're excited about that. And our message is that these partnerships must continue. We cannot have a situation where the BBCBE runs as a lone voice and strategic stakeholders such as yourselves are not part and parcel of that journey. So we're excited about that. And we think that together with the BBCBE, a lot can be done. And your mandate as well can be advanced, as stakeholders who are so important for the development of the sector. The SANRAL CEO spoke earlier about the public procurement bill. So this is one of our very hot projects at the moment. It is currently before the NCOP, and I'm still hoping that those of you who are still keen on making submissions can still do so. Because, as you know, changing primary legislation in our country is an enormous task. So it has taken us a long time to replace the triple PFA, but we are here. So we want to urge all of you, especially those of you who are in the SOEs, where you are doing procurement, you know your pain. You know your pain. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to be able to influence legislation so that it allows you to do the things that we always request you to do. So Stalwart earlier spoke about set-asides. Stalwart, we've made sure that in this iteration of the law, set-asides are there. Set-asides are there. What will now happen is that it will now be left up to you as procuring entities to make sure that that piece of legislation, those clauses, are implemented. Now that's where we need courage now. We need courage. We need people that are courageous. We want you to take decisions because the law enables you to do so. And make no mistake, you're going to be under attack. Agents who are anti-transformation are going to attack you to say, why are you prioritizing black women? Why are you prioritizing black youth and so on and so forth? We have given you an enabler. The legislation is going to enable you to take those tough decisions. What we need you to be is to be courageous. And as the BBCBE and the BBC, we will be there to protect you all the way. So when you are attacked in the media, the BBCBE will also issue a statement supporting you on your actions. Or we must empower black people. Ladies and gentlemen, transformation can no longer be postponed. We can't postpone transformation any further. It must happen, and it must happen now. And that is why we will create, together with government, an enabling legislation so that this transformation project gathers momentum. It is absolutely critical. It is important. CETA, for instance, CEO and the chair, thank you very much for your support once again. And let us invest in the skills of the future. Very important. AI is here. Things are moving. Things are moving in this sector as far as technology is and its impact is concerned. So we need to make sure that the resources that are there at the CETA are redirected to ensure that we reskill our people. I don't have to remind you that we already have machines that are bricklaying. I don't have to remind you. I don't have to remind you of that. So we need to shift. That shift must happen. If there are people who are resisting that shift, Chair and CEO, we remove them. Because we cannot be held back. When the world is moving towards a particular direction, we also have to move. So we look forward to partnering with you. And I hope that the agreement that we're going to be signing today, Deputy President, that agreement will allow us to invest in the skills of the future for the industry. It's absolutely critical. It is important. Supplier development again, the Central CEO has said that we look forward to having black industrialists as far as the supplier side of that industry is concerned. We are with you, Muhlombe. Absolutely 100% behind you on that one. And again, let us have the courage to set up those entities, to set up those industry champions, so that 10 years from now we can say these companies were built on the back of this piece of legislation, on the back of these partnerships with the BBCBE, and today they are industry leaders. We can't cry forever to say, no, on the supply side, that market is completely white dominated. And when we have an opportunity to transform it, we drag our feet. We cannot do so. Let us have the courage to make things happen. One of the issues that, again, the BBCBE will be compelled to look into and to find a solution, and by the way, we are already finding solutions to this, and hopefully in the very near future, these plans will be announced, is the issue around our community forums that are very active on the ground, that are having an impact on the implementation of our projects. We need to have a look at that, especially the criminal element that comes with that. We cannot be held to ransom, colleagues. But if we do nothing and fold our arms, this will now be ingrained in the industry, and it will be very difficult to get rid of it at a later stage. So we need to act. And I'm hoping that, again, we will act in unison as we address this very serious challenge for the industry. Lastly, we are across the road. The President of Ghana is on a state visit, and our President is hosting him. He will be meeting with business people later on. I'm hoping that some of you can land up there. But what is important is that we are talking about the issue of the African Continental Free Trade Area. So when you look at the activities of some of our players here, we can not only support our players to be local businesses only. They need to move to the rest of the continent. So we need to encourage that. We need to encourage our players to be active on the continent so that they can be able to spread their wings and also spread their risk geographically. You can't only play in South Africa and leave the opportunity to others on the continent. In fact, our continental colleagues are saying, we have to do business with China and others because you, South Africans, are not here. So that's an issue that we need to also address, that our businesses can not only operate in South Africa, but they must be able to operate on the continent as well. And closely linked to that, we've got an SA Inc. strategy. And that SA Link strategy, Muhlompe Demana, says that when I am in the DRC and I see an opportunity, nothing should stop me from coming to Central and say, Central, I want to partner with you so that we can go and build highways through tolling in DRC. We must be able to do that so that we can then be able to entrench ourselves in the continent, and our SOEs must come along with us. The Transnet of this world must come along with us. So for us to participate meaningfully on the African Continental Free Trade Area, we need to act in unison with our government. Our SOEs must come along. Let's go and build roads. Let's go and build harbors. Let us go and build airports on the continent. And then DBSA must give us money. Memaja, chelet. Memaja, chelete. Chelet. We need the money from DBSA and others. We can't be there saying we're investors without money. What kind of investor are you who does not have money? Huh? You're not an investor, man. You're just a wishful thinker. So we want to be taken seriously, Memaja. Do you have the balance sheet? Of course. Of course I have the balance sheet, Memaja Obajwiti. We've got money to invest in your country. So the SA Inc. strategy must be a reality for all of us. Let us just not talk about it as just a concept. We must be able to implement it. We identify opportunities as business people, in particular black business people. We partner with our SOEs, and our DFIs must come and give us the money so that then we can be true business people operating not only in South Africa, but on the continent. So colleagues, with those few words, that's the message of support from the BBC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice President of the BBC, Mr. Gregory Mofokeng. And I think we've come to that time when Bob Shezi, when he was here, said that we are fully behind the. Sorry? I'm running this show. I'm here now. I'll choose what I'm going to say, and then, is it wrong to say that? If it's not wrong, spare me. Yeah, I think you're correct, President. Yeah. I think he said that they're fully behind the BBCBE, so we've reached that time when we can show that we are serious about this. And I'll call upon the chair and the CEO of CETA to come sit around or take their seats around here, and I'll get rid of a few people here and leave those who are going to be signing, because I think Gregory did allude to the fact that there's some signing that has to happen today. And CEO of the foundation, please go away. And I think Mr. Dube is going to then, or you can take your seat on the other side, yeah. And yeah, you can go into the other side. Mama Sombuk, take your seat. TG, you are the money person. Come and sit here. Gregory did speak about the money. Yeah, you can take those away. I think at this point I'll give Mr. Dube to just give us a brief of what is happening now.
Thank you, Program Director. And then my name is Bafana Dube. I'm the Deputy President of the Black Business Council in the Built Environment. And then this is one of the a great moment for the organization, as we will be entering into an agreement with CETA, Construction CETA, in terms of the partnership, how we're going to take this country forward around the skills development. We are very excited, Chairperson of CETA and the CEO, that BBCBE today is entering into a formal relationship with CETA. We have been having this relationship for some time, and then this is a good partner to the organization, and we definitely, going forward as an organization, will make sure that CETA is going to play a very key role around building skills of the future, as mentioned by the Vice President of BBC. So this is a great moment for us as an organization, that we are serious in terms of taking this country forward. And we believe the growth of the infrastructure as a sector in this country is going to need a good foundation in terms of skill set going forward, to make sure that we sustain our economy going forward. As you know, that infrastructure is a critical sector in the economy in terms of job creation, in terms of making sure that we've got economic growth in this country. So we are very excited, Program Director, and having the CEO and the Chairperson at the same time in our event. We are looking forward, Chair. Thank you, Program Director.
Thank you very much. Are the pens ready? Not the big BIC, but proper pens to, as Gregory did say, that don't appear like you don't have money, and sign with big, because people are going to laugh at you. Mr. Masombuga, are you going to say something before you sign? Just to concur with, to see if there's concurrence between yourself and the DP.
All right. No, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Stalwart. Thank you very much, President of the Black Business Council in the Built Environment, Deputy President, Treasurer General. Thank you very much, and the entire leadership. Duly recognized, all our guests. I just want to make a few highlights so that you understand that we at the leadership of the CETA are not merely excited about signing. but would like to specifically, intentionally, and purposefully commit to certain deliverables. I'll make you a few that we mention in this agreement. We say that in 3.1.2, we need to collaborate with the BBCBE on the placement of our learner beneficiaries in what is called the TVET and higher education institutions. But over and above that, we also want to make sure that as one of the few deliverables, we invite the BBCBE and its members to make available what we call workplace opportunities. Colleagues, you will understand that in our training paradigm, in our training space, there's a classroom component and there's a placement component. Throughout the period of our training, a lot of our learners battle with workplace placements. So in other words, they obtain the theoretical aspect, they get the certificate, but they are unable to then implement the knowledge. Why? Because as industry, we either do not trust them, are not confident enough of the product that they are, and therefore are unable to absorb them into the economy. The purpose of SETA as an institution is to make sure that the skills gathered are meant to be what is called skills for the economy. Gone are the days when our learners would be proud of having certificates, which certificates do not have meaningful economic effect on the ground. So we were shifting the paradigm. We are shifting the status quo. We are radically, purposefully, and intentionally changing the landscape and making sure that the learners that the SETA train, that fund as a stipend, the learners that the BBCBE and all our stakeholders are going to host and expose to the workplace are learners of productive quality, are learners of substance, are learners of meaningful participants in the economy. Not only should they be employees, but they should be employers of the future. So that come 2030, when our license expires or are subject to reviews, we should be able to parade these learners as products of this agreement. We should be able to display these learners as consequence outcomes of such collaborations. So it is the purpose of these signature ceremonies that we can proudly say that it's not going to be a pen on paper only, but it's going to be a meaningful collaboration that is meant to ensure that we see our learners changing their lives and becoming what is called skilled economic participants, not only in the country, but also in our industry. And for that, President and Stalwart, we are proud that we have applied our mind, and we can go back to the Department of Higher Education and Training. We can go back to the AGM and report to our stakeholders that we proud ourselves with having applied our mind to an agreement that is able to help us realize those type of meaningful outcomes. Thank you very much. I will hand over to the CEO to put pen to paper, and then we will then grace the agreement as witnesses and approvers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Masombuga. You've spoken like I have expected of you to say. And I think that, the take home here is bragging rights. The bragging rights, you don't train for training and training and training perpetually, but you want bragging rights. You want to show who you've trained. Similarly, Mr. Mpatlele, when I was there in the camp at the CIDB, I asked them to have bragging rights of how many grade 3s have become grade 6s, or how many grade 6s have become grade 9s? I know it's a work in progress, but yeah, discussion for another day. Over to you, Mr. Shezi.
Thank you, Program Director. For me, it's just to highlight just a few things before we put the pens. The pens are ready. I think the aspiration, as my chairperson has indicated further, there is an aspiration in this memorandum which talks about for the BBC being charged with the responsibility to establish a skills development center, institute or academy for learning programs and skills needed by the South African economy in promoting the objectives of the National Development Plan 2030. And the SETA will guide and support the process of BBC BE Skills Institute Academy to apply for the QCTO and NAMB and other relevant regulatory agencies' accreditations. That's in the spirit of this. I believe that when it comes to certain numbers, as my chairperson has indicated, somebody in the board who are committing specifically at minimum to implement certain numbers, which we believe that, as Mr. Mfukeng was indicating, Program Director, the PFMA is a fraud prevention tool, not an economic empowerment tool. And we should all agree. So when my board members see these numbers, I do believe they will say these numbers are too conservative. We're looking forward to about 120 artisans to be produced through the term of this collaboration MOU. We call it a Memorandum of Active Partnerships, and also to have about 300 TVET and higher education training institution learner placement effected within BBC member construction sites, and also learnerships as well, to have about 300 learnerships during the duration of this that's at minimum. And over and above, Program Director, there is an aspiration, as our scope talks to thought leadership, research on how this sector is done, that the SETA is committing that in the next financial year, we will sponsor the book that will cover the milestones and lessons for the South African built environments, reflecting on the 25 years since democracy, which is at minimum 2,500 copies for the BBC to lead that program supported by the SETA. Thank you.
Sorry, just a Mercedes-Benz, a grey Mercedes-Benz, BT58JZ, GP. If the owner is with us, apparently you need to move your car. I think you've parked in someone, or you've parked at the wrong place. So somebody with a grey Mercedes-Benz. Okay, the announcement has been made. Can see Shezi is good at signing. He's already finished. and the DP is still shaking because not used to signing. So yeah.
Yeah, just the main pages.
I think we move on because in the interest of time, we've been here. This is not the Indaba itself, but it's the launch, the media launch. We move on to, I think we've come to a point where we can be asking questions if there are questions from the floor. And President, stay where you are because you need to be answering what you are dishing out here and what you had if people are. So we invite the media and people seated around here who have joined us to, it's question time. If there's, please, if you can raise your hands and so you could be recognized. Seems like this was a good media launch. It doesn't have any answers. You got it all. Oh. When you scratch your head, I think, in the auction areas, you get picked by the auctioneers. You scratch, is that a hand up or, yeah. Can we have some questions? Second time? Once? Twice? Gone. Thank you very much. And they will pose for pictures now after, for the media. Gigi Bambi Pepper. Bambi Pepper. You must not be like a certain premier that is asked to do something and someone else does it for you. Barima Bogo let the premier raise the trophy and some tall guy does. Thank you. And again, we're not going to waste time. I think we've kept you too long. I'll ask the DP to just do some closing remarks. Thank you, DP.
Thank you very much, Program Director. And thank you very much from our stakeholders, Sandral, CEO, to take your time and able to be with us this morning. And Chief Corporate Affairs Officer, thank you very much from Sandral as our partner. And then thank you very much from DBSA for gracing this event as our stakeholder. And then thank you very much, SETA Chair and the CEO. And other stakeholders, thank you very much for Nedbank to attend our event. And thank you very much, VP of PPC. We really appreciate and thank you everybody that has able to come to this media launch of our event that is going to take place on the 4th and the 5th. And then I know that as an organization, we will be hosting this event under very difficult circumstances in South Africa, looking at our economic growth, that the country is growing at 1%. And the challenge that we are faced is that we've got poverty, the triple challenges in this country. As an organization, as Black Business Council in the build environment, we definitely want to make our contribution. We said despite challenges that we are facing and the economy is facing in this in South Africa, looking back where we come from after COVID, we haven't recovered fully. But we want to soldier on as an organization, looking forward to work with all our stakeholders. And all our stakeholders that are present today, it has been a very interesting journey. We are one organization that we definitely engage our stakeholders. If I can count how many times would I talk to Limmel Hlohonolo in a day because we want to get things done. And this organization is going to be different after the 4th and the 5th. And it's going to be different even from today, the commitment that we've made, that as an organization, we want to change the landscape in South Africa. And then we want to see more participation of Black people in different sectors of the build environment. We have a clear focus that we'll be looking at as an organization. We want to participate fully under the focusing on the sector like the transport and logistics. As part of the build environment, we're gonna be playing a very active role in the mining sector, and then we're gonna play a very critical role in ICT and roads. And then there are few sectors under the build environment. Telecommunication will be playing a very key role going forward. So ours, ladies and gentlemen, going forward as an organization, is to make sure that the participation of black people in the mainstream economy of those sectors, because we understand very well as an organization which are sectors that are driving economy, and then we want to be in the center of those sectors in terms of going forward. There will be a number of initiatives. We're going to look different. We're going to look different in this organization after our build environment in Daba. And then there are some initiatives that we have already engaging our stakeholders. And then I think one stakeholder that we are looking at that will be working very close with all of you. SETA around skills development will be working very close, DBSA. And then our first meeting and the second meeting with DBSA, it was a different meetings. And then when we met DBSA, we said for the first time, as Black Business Council in the build environment, we want to help DBSA to go out international and raise more funding for infrastructure development in South Africa. We are saying it's no longer for us as an organization to go and ask what DBSA can do for our people. We go to DBSA and says, how can we help you to make sure that we help our people in return? And then our relationship with Sanral, I'm not going to divulge much in terms of our partners, what we are doing on the closed doors. But some of the things and initiatives that we'll be unveiling during our 4th and the 5th of our build environment in Daba, then you'll have more information in terms of what are the kind of program. We're going to be a program-based organization that wants to deliver value to our members and the country at large. At the end of the day, that's the partnership that we want to strengthen with all our partners going forward. There'll be more partners coming on board. We are speaking to some government's department that will be working with us very closely. And then I'm not going to say much in this media launch, but we want to be judged by what we're going to be able to contribute to Sanral, to DBSA, to SETA. It's all about us as an organization to contribute to our partners, and our partners contributing back to us. So definitely, Black Business Council is looking forward to able to shape the infrastructure development in this country going forward. And then we hope with our partners on board, we'll able to definitely achieve the objectives that we have set as an organization. For us, is to build a country. I know that we can complain a lot. We can sit here and complain about things that are not happening in this country. But we want to be a different organization. We don't want to complain. We want to contribute to this country and contribute to our members. So we are definitely looking forward to work with our partners and then to unveil more projects going forward. There will be other projects that will be unveiled during our inaugural build environment in Daba. And then within the organization, for the first time, we've established a project management unit. It's headed by Mr. Kerriton Tlale, who's here today. He just arrived late from another meeting because of definitely, ladies and gentlemen, from our side, we are an organization at work. And then we really appreciate for you to be able to take your time, to be able to be with us and witness this launch of the build environment in Daba. And we're gonna go stronger in 2025. And then part of our objectives is that this event is gonna become an international event, but not just the platform for people to come and discuss and go home. But it's gonna be a platform that the organization, our intention is to follow up in everything that we have initiated. And then we'll invite you around October. We have launched this build environment in Daba. And then on the 4th and the 5th, and then after that inaugural event, down the line, October, again we'll call you and say how far we have gone with SETA, how far we have gone with Sanral, how far we have gone with DBSA, and how far we have gone with other partners going forward. We've got projects in different sectors, the energy, and then we are positioning this organization for the first time going forward, that BBC BE will champion the hydropower in this country. We are determined to do that. We know that there's different alternative energy, renewable energy, but one of the energy that we've picked up, CEO of SETA, around the skills that we need to develop. The organization will be unveiling some few plans around the hydropower. For the first time as an organization, we're gonna go out and raise money to able to make sure that we deliver the hydropower in this country as an organization going forward. So our partners on board will be calling you. There will be a lot of interaction, and then there's not much that I'm gonna say. I'm gonna just keep some other things for the 4th and the 5th of April, Stalwart and Program Director. But we are looking forward to work with you, and thank you very much for gracing this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it can be said louder with hands. Let's go for it. Thank you so much. Without a waste of time, I think we've kept you long here, and I think the DP has already thanked everybody for coming. And you know, we proceed to the next item, and that item is you are invited to lunch, and you can actually just I think it's a buffet just outside the door here, and then you come back and eat here. But in the interim, we'll be having media interviews with the panelists or people who actually, even some of the stakeholders that spoke here. The media is welcome to really go to them and then ask whatever clarity they need to. But lunch is served. Thank you.